everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. This is Candace Marie. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Happy Saturday, everyone. We're going to be doing live readings. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Just kind of getting caught up here. I don't know what is going on. I'm having all kinds of crazy stuff going on with my PayPal, so I'm gonna need a little bit of patience. I appreciate it. A couple things. So, obviously, every other week we alternate between tarot and astrology. This week's going to be tarot. We're going to be doing all readings by donation. So if you're new to my channel, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, say hello, tell me where you are tuning in from, and do consider hitting the subscription button below so you get insights as to when I have new videos coming out. Hope everybody's doing well. If you'd like a reading, it's donation based. So you can get 1 card for $20, 3 cards for $40. There's a QR code right next to me and you can scan that QR code. It's gonna take you to my PayPal. You can make the donation, but we also accept Super Chat, whichever one is easiest for you. We also are really receptive and really appreciative of tips or anybody else who wants to contribute to the channel. Any donations are going to go towards creating more content and cost of production and all that fun stuff. You're seeing tarot tonight, but I also practice Western astrology, so be sure to check out my other videos, or if you're looking to get an astrology reading, click my links below and you can see my website and book with me. Now, as always, we always start with level 3 people, so that's the benefit of being a level 3 subscriber. If you are a level 3, you're going to be given a reading once a month. You're going to get first VIP in line. So if any of the level 3 people are here, if they want the reading, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to say a big shout out and thank you to all of my level 2 and 3 subscribers. We've got some new people this month: Angela, Deanna, Emma, Susan, Ezekiel, Paula, Miss Fogel, Jackie, Angeli, Nancy, Phoenix, Jessica Martinez, and Susan Wexler. So hello to everybody. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. If you want to join the level 3, you can do so. It's only a little bit more than actually making a donation for a reading. Let me know if somebody's here. I see you, Angeli. And also, guys, if you can, please, when you make a donation on PayPal, let me know if your name is different on PayPal than on YouTube, because sometimes the name differs. And in the memo box, let me know what your question is. That would be super helpful. I know we've got a couple of people. I don't know if Gloria's here, but I have a request from Gloria. So Gloria is requesting $40. Sorry, let me move my mic here. Ugh. Let's see if that's better. Sorry. You guys are probably hearing all that rustling. Gloria, you sent me a request, not a payment. So if you're here, let me know. I can definitely do a reading for you, but you're going to have to make a payment, not a request. So if we don't have any level 3 people, I have got Victoria, Lynn, and Angeli. No worries. Hey, Miss Fogel, how's it going? Let me know. It's always cool to see the members chime in. I can always tell you guys apart because you have a different color in your screen name, so that's helpful for me. So we'll see if anybody pops in. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started, and we will start with Victoria. And guys, sharing is caring, so if you want to share this, if you want to leave a comment or a thumbs up, please do. And I'm looking for Victoria. I know that you're here. Victoria, what is your question? Thanks, guys. I'm getting your donations. I don't know what's going on with my PayPal, but I'm having some issues with it. It's not giving me everybody's payment, and it's not showing me everybody's question, so it's really strange. Let's see. Okay, Victoria, what's your question? Let me know. Let me know. I'm happy to read for you. Cool. I want to know the outcome of my recent actions. Okay, good question. So thank you for your donation. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's get into it, everybody. So we're going to do a 3-card reading. Okay, so Victoria's asking about the outcome of her recent actions. We'll create a little suspense here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a nice cocktail while you're listening to everybody air their laundry on YouTube. We'll start with the first card, which we get Temperance Reversed. So Temperance Reversed does talk about something being out of balance or something being out of whack, right? Temperance usually is a card that comes up that talks about timing, planning, letting things come to kind of fruition on their own time. It's kind of like a crock pot. You just have to leave it alone. Don't touch it. If you do, everything flows and everything kind of moves nicely. So Temperance Reversed is saying, maybe you lost your temper, maybe there was a sense of you rushing something, there can be a sense of you offsetting some kind of balance, or possibly being in a situation where you're feeling like, you know what, something is out of whack. There's something going on that's out of whack here. Temperance Reverse can also talk about actual imbalances. So it can be saying like, sometimes this is a card that comes up when somebody has a drink or two and tells somebody what's really on their mind. Okay, so she said, I totally lost my temper. Temperance is just saying like whatever happened, it obviously wasn't your best moment. It's okay, you know, shift happens, but Temperance is saying that you're reflecting on it. Like there's this awareness that's like, hey, I could have handled this situation better, and knowing that was not the best way to handle the situation. So consciousness and awareness in this case is everything. This card is the Eight of Coins, which talks about, for you specifically, working on things. So you're like, I know I messed up. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm working on it, or let me fix it. Let me work on it. Let me use this as an opportunity to be able to kind of work through something. It might actually talk about that the blow up that came about was to really show you like where you can be focusing your energy a little bit more. The Eight of Pentacles is like a really productive card. So it's not like a situation where something blew up and you're not trying to fix it, or that you're not trying to find constructive ways to be able to kind of move through whatever is happening in your life right now. I would say the only advice is like, don't throw yourself into work, or don't throw yourself into feeling like you need to be nonstop beating yourself up over what happened. It's a productive card. It's a positive card. It does talk about positive changes and shifts that are coming. The final card that you get is the Three of Wands. So it does make me feel like you're going to move on. You're going to forgive yourself, whoever you lost it on, whoever you had an issue with. I'm wondering, like, is there a sense of you feeling like stressed out and like overworked, underpaid? Are you feeling unappreciated? Have you been working so much that you're like bringing that home? Is the frustration coming home? Has there been frustration over like feeling like there's some financial stressors? These can be any of the things that are happening. The final card's a positive card. So this is the Three of Wands. It's meaning that you're gonna move past this, or whoever you're having some kind of a squabble with, or whoever you kind of had this situation with, you will move past this. Look for this to be happening in increments of 3 days, 3 months, 3 weeks, although the wands have a tendency to be very quick, you know? I was listening to sounds so silly, but I was listening to an interview today, and it was Drake talking about how he lost his mind, you know, when he was first becoming famous and he was out in the media, because somebody took a photo of him and they altered the photo, and he was like, oh, this is gonna ruin my career. Everybody's gonna, you know, this, that, and the other. They're gonna think that this is real. And his mom said to him, listen, if it's still bothering you in 3 days, that's why I'm bringing this up, like, you know, then make it a thing. But what's interesting is the Eight of Coins and the Three of Wands tells me more that this is like the frustration over you having to work really hard to take care of something, and the fact that it can be like resentment or frustrations that are underneath the surface as a result of having to work so hard at something, right? And the fact that the Temperance card is coming up reverse makes me feel like it may not all be on you. Like maybe you lost your temper, but the situation was so out of whack, or there was something that was put so heavily on your shoulders that it's been this mounting pressure. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? All I know is just to handle it this way. So the breakdown is happening because you need to find new ways to deal with it. And you need to find new ways to possibly even ask for help. Three of Wands talks about, okay, now it's happened, now I move forward. What does the future look like? How are we able to handle things differently now that some kind of situation has kind of come about? I'm just reading your messages. Stressed out and frustrated over my son being a secret. Yeah, everything lands on me to handle people's issues. I mean, the thing that I would say is that, you know, but this can be mounting issues revolving around feeling like there's an imbalance, like why it's on you to take care of the kid or why it's on you to be responsible for the kid. Even if there is some kind of financial support, this is more emotional, right? You see that he's going back and forth with 2 cups. So it's really kind of saying that you don't feel like there's a balance. You may feel like you have support financially, but you're not getting the emotional support that you need. Or maybe perhaps there's like a situation where you're just like, you know what, I no longer want to feel like I have to carry this around with me anymore. It is incentivizing you to feel like you want to do work revolving around the situation. The 3 of Wands is a very open card, so it does tell me that perhaps part of the frustration is the breakdown that needs to happen before you kind of finally realize, like, if I'm going to work really hard to feel like I am the sole, parent or the only one taking care of this person or this child, then like I might as well actually, go at it my own way and not feel like I have to be concealing it. It can also be about you saying, how can we move into the future and feel like we find more productive ways of being able to communicate with, whether this is with other people or whether this is with the person that you had the kid with, by being able to be open about what has been happening. Regardless, it is saying that it's a clearing. So sometimes like this breakdown happens so it can bring up the frustration so you can have the conversation and clear it out. So 3 of Wands is saying you're going to move forward, but to me it seems like you're moving forward in a way where you don't have to feel like you're spending so much time and energy concealing the secret or concealing the details revolving around who you had the kid with or anything in that regard. You just want to feel like you want to live your life, right? He's free. He's outside, open air. Everything's in front of him. He doesn't want to feel like he has to overanalyze every move he makes. So I would say for you, it's more about having the conversations and realizing that, to me, it seems like it's just so much extra energy and so much extra emotional buildup, not being able to live your life authentically and being like, yeah, this is the dad, or, this was the situation. Obviously, I understand that can be extremely complex. It's emotional, you're 100% right. My son's a secret to his dad's family and went to his mom's house to reveal it. So yeah, but guess what? It's liberating, right? The 3 of Wands is like, okay, I'm not only do I feel like I can breathe, but I feel like now I can go and live my life without feeling like I need to hide things. So things might shake out over the next 3 weeks, 3 months. I got to tell you guys, the astrology happening this month through the beginning of August is not for the faint of heart. Thankfully, right, we are going to see things are going to clear up the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's kind of like that sweet spot before we start to feel the build up and the pinch of the squares in August. But there is breakdown happening with the Saturn-Uranus squares. It's returning before there's breakthrough. And the way that Uranus works is we have to go low, we have to go down before we come back up. So anybody going through some really significant squares, if you have any major placements, sun, moon, rising in the fixed signs, so that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, there is a breakdown before there is a breakthrough. So it looks to me like there's a breakthrough. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you for your donation. Thank you guys for your patience. Like I said, my PayPal is possessed, so please send my PayPal good energy as you sprinkle in your reading request. What's up, Miss Fogel? I got you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. For some reason, when I go to my homepage, I can see it, but it's not activating everywhere else. So I'm just gonna have to leave it here. I apologize. That means it's not gonna show me your memo. So I may have to ask you guys a couple times, what was your question? But we got all night, so it's all good. Is Gloria still here? Gloria, let me know. I know you want me to send you $40, but are you gonna give me a reading, Gloria? Gloria, if you give me a reading, I'll send you $40. We're gonna move on to Lynn. Here is Lynn. Lynn says, can I get a 3-card reading? My friend asked me my thoughts and feeling regarding dreams she's been having about a particular person. I gave her my take, but she didn't sound satisfied with my answer. Does she want this person to have more significance than what she's admitting to me? Ooh, Lynn. I like it. I like it when people spill the tea. All right, so let's take a look. So what's the deal with Lynn's friend? She didn't seem too thrilled with her hot takes on dream interpretation. Does she want to have something going on with this other person? What's going on? Thanks, Kayla. I'll check in just a second. I'm sure it did, Angelie. I'll check. All right, so this is in regards to Lynn's question about her friend. Two of Swords. So we've got Two of Swords coming up. That tells me that she may feel, and this is reversed, by the way. She may feel in some capacity that she is stressed and anxious and trying to decide whether or not there's still a connection there, right? Two of Swords, when it comes up upright, it's like somebody who's like, okay, I got to make a choice. But when it's Two of Swords, it's like, you know, she wants to know specifically, are we connecting? Should I reach out to him? Do you think this means something? Do you think this means he's thinking, or I should say they are thinking about me? And to me, it's like, it's causing a lot of stress to some extent. Two of Swords also can be this feeling that she's looking for validation in contacting or being in contact with this person. So to me, she's like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I do it? So she wanted somebody else to tell her, yes, do it. I don't think that necessarily means she wants somebody to tell her what she wants to hear. Then we have the Star card reversed. So it's interesting. To me, it feels like she may think that you would judge her if she was completely upfront and honest with you about either how much she thinks about this person, about the fact that there can be feelings there where she's feeling lost and disconnection. Like, I think she genuinely misses having a friendship with this person. But the Star card reverse is saying it's more, I think, about her unfinished business. I think it's more about her feeling like, I got hurt, I need healing, and there can be a sense of the way that she was explaining the dream to you. It may have, from your perspective, seemed like she's just trying to kind of work through some stuff subconsciously. It doesn't necessarily mean that they should be in contact or that they're going to be together, right? And the truth is that I can see where these cards are saying that you're like, is this going to make it weird in our friendship? Like, are we having like a riff, or is she kind of like weird because she feels like I didn't tell her what she wanted to hear? Sometimes this can represent anxiety or some kind of disconnection going on with a friend because you're, you know, that's what we want. We want real friends, right? We want people who are going to be honest and upfront with us, people, not just people who are going to tell us what we want to hear. Looks like you told her your real interpretation, and it brought up the fact that she's kind of hurt that you may not necessarily feel like they are meant to be, right? So then we've got Eight of Coins again. So it's almost like you being like, you go work on you, boo-boo. Don't worry about him. Like, that's not necessarily a good connection. This is more about you working through it in your own sense. I think it can also be about you telling her that just because it's happening in a dream or in an astral sense, it's important for her to stay steadfast on the progress she's been making since disconnecting with this person. Like, you might have said to her, like, why would you want to go back to him? You're in a good place. You're doing a lot of work on yourself. Like, you've got a lot of good things going for you. Like, don't get sidetracked. Because this card does talk about staying present. Like, keep going in the direction that you're going. Or that you're saying to her, I don't think it's so much about you guys being together, more than it's you working through the fact that there was a lot of pain. Maybe he never apologized for something. Maybe she didn't get closure. And she's hurting, right? Because the Star card can actually deal with issues that have not been healed or things that are being kind of concealed. I'm a big believer, and I always say this to my clients when clients will be like, but I had a dream about him and he keeps showing up in my dream, or, you know, she shows up and we're interacting in the dream, but, you know, she hasn't spoken to me in 6 months. This is what you want to say. Tell them to hang out, to connect, to reach out and talk to you, like, in the third dimension. Like, to some extent, there can be a sense of them connecting, like, astrally, but I don't think it means they're supposed to be together. And I think that what you were saying to her, you were trying to make it sound like, yeah, it just sounds like you're working through something. Seems as if there was a random person she met at a party and it was a little odd. Yeah, no. This is definitely connected to somebody that she's thinking a lot about, and maybe she spun it as like, oh, it was a social connection. That's the friend card, the Star. But I think personally, like, there was a little bit more there than what she was telling you. I think she was afraid that you were going to judge her because you were going to either come down on her or basically be like, why would you want to take up with that person? It's not a good connection. And you kind of spinning it back on her and telling her, no, focus more on you. Don't go in that direction. But yeah, there does seem to be something that was going on there that's more connected to somebody that she had feelings for. But it's more stuff that she didn't get closure on, you know? So Yeah, anybody else who's dealing with people who are plaguing your dreams, just tell them in meditation straight up. Like, you want to talk to me? Do it in the third dimension. Stop plaguing my bedroom. Hopefully that was helpful, Lynn. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me just catch up. I'm going to let you guys know who I've got in order. I've got Angeli, Mia, Concha, Annette, and Miss Fogel. Obviously, if you guys are just tuning in, you want to get a reading, we're doing it by donation only. $20 for one card, $40 for three. Scan the QR code right here if you'd like to get a reading. And let me know if you drop me a PayPal. Angeli says, thanks for the lunar return reading. You're welcome. I just came back from an overdue vacation. I intend to email you about the specifics related to the lunar ascendant Neptune in conjunct my 7th house soon. My question for tarot, I didn't pass the last exam, and because I didn't, I would have to take 2 exams to license as a CPA. Should I continue to pursue CPA? Good question. Let's see. Just a recommendation for you, Angeli. I would highly recommend that before you consider doing another test or 2, burn like a road opener candle, right? Or like you're in Chicago, right? I think, or like an Abre Camino. You might find that out there in some of the botanicas. Something that's going to be like orange, so it can help you kind of clear the mental static revolving around like feeling disconnected from Mercury or any concerns that you have mentally about taking another test. And it can really help for clarity. Just a recommendation that I would make. Okay. All right, so let's see what the card says for Angeli. So should she continue and take another exam? Angeli, I want to ask you a question. And I'll give you my answer, but the reason why is I don't want to show you this card yet. Do you feel like you should continue and take this test? Do you feel like that? Because the card that I got is the High Priestess. So it's talking about your vision. It's talking about your intuition. It's talking about your clarity, right? Whether or not you see yourself being a CPA, whether or not you see yourself passing the test. I'm not going to make it sound like if you visualize it, it's going to happen. Certainly, you're going to get that kind of momentum working in your favor. But this is talking about what you see or do not see happening, right? So the High Priestess, it came up upright. Right? It did come up upright. So it does make me feel like there can be some clarity by sitting and waiting until you feel like it's the right time. The High Priestess sits and she basically, I mean, you know, she has 2 pillars. There's the light and the dark. The light and the dark represent the conscious and the unconscious. And you can show up physically and do all the conscious stuff in the light. You can be going through the motions. But if intuitively or emotionally or in your gut, in your heart and soul, you're like, this isn't what I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 years from now, or this isn't really where I see my life going, you need to listen to that voice right now, right? So it may not necessarily be about quitting or not quitting. It could be about just knowing when the time is right. And I also feel, to be honest with you, I pulled another card just to confirm. The Judgment card is saying it's now or never. So I feel like if you don't try again, the cards are kind of indicating you're always going to wonder, like, did I leave that door open? Like, did I not try my best? Did I not at least try to kind of nail it? The Judgment card is saying, like, it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to give it another shot or not. I feel like the High Priestess is positive for knowing when the right time is to initiate actually taking that test, right? Just food for thought. And right now, let me pull up your chart really quick because I'm curious. You do have, yeah, Mercury's been retrograde. I'm not saying that's the reason why, but maybe you want to see something like, or make a decision when Mercury comes into a trine with Saturn. That's going to be sometime right around July 1st. Sit on it. See how you're feeling in about 2 weeks' time, you know? And I think personally, you're going to question whether or not you left that door open if you did not complete something, because Judgment is saying it's time to at least try again if that's something that you want to do, you know? Yeah, so your other exams are going to expire. I say give it another shot. That's That's my feeling on this. I say give it another shot. It's worth doing it, but you're going to know because you're going to feel it like, oh, now is the time. Now is the right time for me to get going. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know. Send me that email. I'd love to hear. Kayla, I saw your question. I do not have anything that came in from you. I do not. And also, Angeli, get into the habit of sitting and meditating and visualizing the feeling, right? So you want to like imagine you're in the feeling of being like, I passed the test. Oh my God. Like you looking at the test and getting a passing grade and what it feels like. Pay attention for dreams or anything too, right? So if you have a dream or anything really significant relating to being like, oh, I saw the score, that's going to be a sign. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. I got you, Kayla. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to Mia. What's up, Mia? How are you doing? All right, so let's see. She wants a love reading or anything relating to money and family. I got you. Mia. Well, there's the Empress popping up. Positive way to start the reading. It can be talking about maternal figures. It can be talking about blessings. This can be talking about positive health relating to yourself, to females, mother figures. So like issues relating to mother or you, but because it's upright, it's positive. So it's saying it's talking about something that also might be like gestating or something that's just kind of getting ready to kind of come into fruition. Then we have the Three of Swords, quite a polar opposite card. So this can be talking about a situation that's been going on right now, or maybe you're feeling like you're being torn in two different directions in regards to a relationship that you're having with like a feminine person. So it can be a parent, can be a sister, anything like that. It can also be talking about going through some challenging things in relation to like responsibilities of family or motherhood. Now, the Three of Swords being in the current position, it can be talking about trying to heal the heart or being in a situation where you're trying to be more understanding, sympathetic. It can also be talking about any health-related stuff going on relating to like the feminine body. So, you know, Empress rules Venus. It does deal with like reproductive stuff. It can deal with dietary stuff. It can deal with like also working through issues of self-value that can be coming up. But the Three of Swords talks about moving out of some challenging or emotional situations in regards to your emotions or your feelings. And then the last card we have is the Eight of Swords reversed. So I'm wondering, like, is there a lot going on that's revolving around forgiveness of a mother? Is there something going on in regards to healing wounds relating to your roots and your upbringing and like your family and where you come from? I notice you're a Virgo. So just looking at this chart, looking at your birthday, it makes me feel like with some of the transits that are going on for you currently right now, you know, there's a lot of Saturn, 6 houses from your sun. So there can be a sense of like having to work more on dietary and health stuff. You've also got some transits that have squared recently with Neptune in your 7th. So it can represent some challenges in regards to relationships or relationship with a family member. I don't know your ascendant. I know you sent me your time, but I haven't cast your chart. Regardless, the Eight of Swords reverse talks about removing all of the swords and moving out of a situation where you have felt blocked. So if you've been feeling emotionally blocked, or if you've been feeling mentally blocked, or feeling stuck, like you can't move on from something, or you're having a difficult time forgiving someone or forgiving yourself, you're moving forward. These two cards are very mental, so it does talk a lot about being mindful of like how you're communicating with others, how you're communicating with yourself, that there is a need to be really aware of thoughts, that thoughts can be creating some situations, providing some real challenging kind of topics for you. Oh, you're a Cancer rising. Okay. So, you know, I'm just thinking about like where Saturn is for you right now, being that Saturn's in Aquarius, it's moving through your 8th house, and it is going to be making some squares with Uranus. So I'm wondering who is the breakdown with? Is it with somebody that you're mourning? Is it a friendship that you're mourning? Is it a family member? Are you feeling kind of hurt, like, you know, you're not able to connect with somebody, or that somebody is not opening to connecting with you? Something like that's going on. My advice would be mindful of your thoughts, be more conscious of what you're saying, be taking really good care of yourself. I mean, the Empress card does talk a lot about the need to be really focusing on nurturing and loving and pampering yourself. That way you can actually move through this a little bit more easily. Working with the element of air also, so that can be things like working with music therapy, working with like bells and chimes or sound bowls, things that are going to actually shake a lot of this stuff out for you to help you move through the process of healing. I know also, being a Cancer rising, there's quite a bit of intense energy that's kind of building up. Now that you have Mars moving through your 10th house, it's going to get rather active, especially right around this full moon that we're going to have in Capricorn next month. We're going to see some squares and some other aspects relating to Mars and Pluto and the Sun. So this may not make sense right now. This can be talking about some challenging situations relating to home and family that you're going to have to move through. And it may be letting you know over the next 3 weeks or so that there is a buildup and there is a need to really focus on yourself before some of these situations kind of come to fruition. Regardless of what's going on, I would just say try to take care of yourself, sending you lots of love. And it's really important for you to be really nurturing and almost kind of like pampering yourself in the midst of everything. Like, you have to put yourself on a pedestal, or you have to be the one to focus on what's best for you. Even if that's difficult, even if that means you have to move on, even if you're not feeling like you have support from other people. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Any way to check out without creating a PayPal? Yes, you can. If you want to do super chat, you can super chat. All right, so let's see who else we've got. Thank you guys for your patience. Appreciate it. Okay, so we've got Concha. What's up, Connie? Nice to see you. Connie says, okay, we're going to do a 3-card reading for her. I'm a Taurus sun and moon with a Leo ascendant. I would like to know what you see in regards to my love relationship and what's coming towards me. Well, I gotta tell you, girl, you're gonna see in Leo season, when all these planets move into your 10th house, you're gonna feel like you're in charge of something. There's gonna be some sense of you being like, I wanna feel like I have control, right? Because you're gonna see planets move through Leo. It's gonna square your Taurus. It's also gonna make squares to everything that's going on with Saturn and with the nodes. So that's gonna be an interesting time to pay attention. There's going to be a little bit of tension there. So let's see what is coming. Leo risings are just going to find that there's like a need for them to put themselves first. That's what I kind of see coming for the summertime, because you'll see planets in Leo oppose Saturn. So let's see what the cards say in terms of what love relationship might be coming towards you. So first we've got the Death card. If you're going to pull the Death card, pulling it in this position is at least one of the better places to pull it, right? So the Death card does talk about regeneration, renewal, dealing with like a really difficult situation of having to release or having to let go of someone or something. Sometimes when this card comes up in the past position, it's talking about the fact that there was so many changes that have happened perhaps in like the last year or so, or at least last fall, that you have felt like you have no other choice but to move forward. And you had to let something go. You had to bury something. Maybe you're dealing with loss. Maybe you're dealing with betrayal. You know, the Death card is kind of like when you go to a funeral and you've got the people that are like wearing the Hawaiian shirts and they're like partying and they're celebrating, you know, the fact that that person has transitioned, and they're celebrating their life because they know that that's the only way to usher in new energy. Then you have like the auntie that's like yelling and screaming and crying and like grabbing the casket and making like a scene, right? So with the Death card, it's your choice how you decide you want to celebrate this ending or perhaps a new beginning. So you've been through it recently. Then we have the 6 of Coins reversed. So to me, it seems like it's about focusing on relationships that bring value, right? Or relationships that are going to have balance, where there is a fair give and take. You may feel like in recent relationships that there has been all give and no take back, that there has been some kind of imbalance, and people who are giving you like crumbs, especially when you look at this card, it's got like a wealthier guy and two beggars, and they're like, please, can I have something? Usually when this card is upright, it's saying like, okay, there's something imbalanced, like we're able to kind of bring somebody in, and what you're going to put out there is what you're going to receive. When this card comes up reversed, it's saying that there are still some things that you're working out and that you're balancing. You're kind of finding your equilibrium, or you're kind of starting to learn what your worth is. So it's really important right now when it comes to relationships that you're not in a position of being like, oh, am I going to find somebody? Is somebody there? Are you coming? Do you want me? Like, be careful how much power you put on whether or not other people want you, whether or not other people choose you, whether or not you're having to scramble or feel like you need to ask for somebody to be there. So it's just gently kind of reminding you, don't be in a place of feeling like you have to have it. Otherwise, you can repeat the pattern of landing in a relationship or having somebody come in that is making you feel like you're having to beg for things that should just be given to you naturally in a relationship. And the final card that we get is the Five of Swords reversed. So this is also saying that it's about letting go of mental patterns of feeling like you're getting frustrated. I don't know if you're feeling like you're having like regular breakdowns where you're like, I don't even know why I try. I put myself out there. People don't care. What is even the point, right? It's kind of like the Leo tantrum. This coming up right now makes me feel like there is a need for you to be moving away from the storyline that you keep telling yourself. You know, I don't want you to be saying like, what's the point? Why do I try? Or, you know, I'm trying, but nobody is receptive. Like, be very, very, very careful with that stuff. Because what it's saying is that there can be this cycle that keeps going on where you keep finding yourself putting yourself out there and not quite getting what you deserve, or trying to be the one who's orchestrating the communication, and you're reaching for someone and then you're like, well, they're not even trying, so what's the point? Like, you know, you're a Taurus sun. So, you know, the fact that you've got your sun being in the 10th house, listen, you want to be in control, right? Or it's around your 10th house, whole sign. You have to understand that you're kind of getting it from both angles right now, right? The two most important areas of your life is going to be where Taurus and also where Leo is. Being that you're a Leo rising, it's all about you feeling yourself, building your energy up, feeling good regardless of whether or not somebody comes through. It's about a relationship being the icing on the cake. Two is you've also got Uranus around your sun, right? And I want you to take into consideration that you are going through perhaps changes and transformations within your career, changes and transformations revolving around how you view authority and control. You can be a little bit more rebellious. You might not like people telling you what to do, but there can also be a sense of you getting really frustrated because you're feeling like you're not getting control over other people, right? Saturn's in your 7th house. So as a Leo rising, I kind of feel inclined to tell you what you're learning is that you can't control everything. What you're learning is that good relationships, the foundation is going to start with a friendship. And while you might kind of feel like people are keeping you at a safe distance, that's going to clear out a little bit. So take a look at where your natal Uranus is in your chart. That's the ruler of your 7th, and you want to see what's going on. Also, all year, Saturn's squaring Uranus. So what you're going to learn is that you're not going to be able to facilitate relationships by strong-arming someone. It's almost like the more that you're like, I'm in charge, I'm the boss of me, I say who, what, where, when, how, and I'm doing my own thing, and you are either with it or not, it's like a light will switch. And you'll be like, oh, I don't have to feel like I'm begging for attention. Like, I'm just going to be turning my light on, letting people know I'm open for business, and people are just going to start showing up, and they can wait for me. Focus on that, because you're not going to be throwing tantrums and you're not going to be frustrated about not getting your way. If you're realizing that you're in the driver's seat, start reminding yourself that like people should be dying to want to hang out with you. People should be asking you, why aren't you making time for me? Put the shoe on the other foot. Look at the situation the other way around. Most likely, and just being somebody who talks to people for a living, I talk to 4, 5, 6 people every day that I'm working. There is a multitude of people out there who want attention, they want love, they want a good relationship, they want to have a healthy exchange, but they're chasing things that aren't giving that to them. So in the same way that you're sitting here being like, why am I not getting what I want? There's somebody out there who's saying, well, why is somebody not reaching out to me? Like there's somebody out there who's looking for you. The Death card can be symbolic to talking very specifically about what may be happening in the months of October and November. Now, just knowing what I know, that there's eclipses coming, and those eclipses are going to be happening for you in your 4th house, which will square Saturn in your 7th. It's about clearing out and releasing and letting go of the past. So just be mindful of that. It's about letting go of the past and how you have responded to things emotionally in the past. Put it to rest. No more people who don't give you what you deserve. Hopefully that's helpful, Connie. Thanks, Anoya. Thanks, Connie. Appreciate it. I'll add you guys to the queue. Just a heads up, we are going to call last call at 8 o'clock in about 12 minutes. And I just got a request from JW. I would love to read for you, JW, but you have to send me $20, not request it. It can be kind of confusing sometimes. Let me know if you got it. Let's move on to Annette. Then we have Miss Fogel. All right, so Annette says, wondering about my program management career and love life dating younger, not the one, thank you. Oh, it's a card that jumped out for you. So the card that jumped out is the Queen of Wands. Interesting, because you are a Sagittarius, Annette, so the tarot seems to want to talk to you. It's so funny when it does that. All right, so I guess the one thing that I would say with the Queen of Wands jumping up is that it's talking very specifically about taking action. It's like full steam ahead. What are you fired up about? What are you passionate about? What are you wanting to create? What moves are you wanting to make? Things like that. So I'll keep this card down here for a little bit. I would still like to pull the 3, but it's addressing you personally. I call that my calling card when it addresses you based off of the card that represents your element. So it's definitely talking to you. So let's see what we need to know potentially about her program management career, and if anything comes out about love life. This kind of makes me chuckle. It's interesting. I'm not saying this because of what you said in your comment. I mean, I saw that you're like, dating younger, not the one. That Justice card coming up with the 4 of Coins is really encouraging you to stay open, right? It's saying be open to what the universe perhaps brings you. Be open if the universe brings you new potential relationships, new potential business partnerships. Justice is a card of karmic balance in law. So it's saying like there is a cause and effect. So what you're putting out there is what you're receiving. What you are showing other people is what you're receiving. The reason why I say stay open is because you have the 4 of Coins that is coming up, and it's coming up reversed. So that's telling me very specifically that part of what's going on is that you're in a situation where you're like needing to be open to new opportunities. It's not holding on too tight. And I would say that includes not holding on too tight to finances, the feeling that you need to produce something specific, being really hard on yourself about reaching certain professional financial goals, like saying you need to hit certain levels or certain amounts or bringing in certain salaries. But this is also saying open up and be receptive to relationships. And I see that you're like, okay, dating younger, not the one. So I'm assuming you're telling me like this isn't the one, but I'm dating, like what else is out there? This is a reminder to also, I think, look at either relationships, physical connection, resources, work, financial opportunities. You know, 4 of Coins is like holding on to something too tightly. So when it comes up reversed, it's saying like, I'm going to let go and let God. Like, you know, send me what's supposed to be coming in, right? We want to treat the element of earth kind of like it's fluid. If we're holding on to money or people or situations too tight, we don't give it enough room to breathe and actually shift. If we're holding on to an idea or a concept, especially in regards to relationships too tightly, we can say, well, this is not the one, but they could be. You're just not allowing that to potentially show itself. What's interesting is I kind of feel like for you right now personally, your mind is on your money and your money's on your mind. It's not that you can't have relationships, but certainly there is a sense of you being like, I'm not going to get hung up on anyone or anything that may not necessarily be benefiting me. and you're really conscious and aware of like where you're investing your time, your energy, and also your money. Here we go, Queen of Coins. It's interesting that this is kind of like a progression, right? We see the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is talking about some leveling up, some upgrade that's going on, especially when it comes to your career stuff. So this can be talking about like working in upper management, you know, performing very well, being somebody who's very well respected, getting raises, getting new titles, and just really focus on nurturing your career. Perhaps maybe there is a sense of being like, I'm open to love, but I'm not going to let relationships get in the way of like what I'm working on right now. Now, the Queen of Pentacles can also be some kind of collaboration with another woman. So it can be somebody who can be a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. It could be a woman who's older, has darker hair, who comes in and she's overseeing what you're doing, but also kind of like giving you the nod of respect and saying like, wow, you know, you're doing a really good job, or, you know, I want to work with you. It can be somebody prestigious too. So this can be like, you know, pulling in a major client. This can be you working with somebody who's very wealthy and has a lot of power and has a lot of status that somehow really helps you in terms of where you're going. I foresee that there is going to be some shift and fluctuation that's going to be going on in regards to who you're working with in a positive sense. And look for this right around like Libra season. So like right around the end, mid-September going into October, that there may be some really prominent partnership that comes about that allows you to feel like, okay, I don't have to worry so much about trying to produce on my own, or okay, I don't feel like I have to be handling all of the stuff that's going on professionally or financially by myself. A powerful merger seems to be emerging. And it is talking about something that's going to come within 4 months. So we've got July, August, September, October. Look for that happening right around there. It may require you to sign some like legally binding agreement, or you might have to actually sign on to work with somebody for a period of time. But to me, it looks like it can be beneficial. And it's also going to teach you that, like I said, you don't have to do everything by yourself, right? Relationship stuff, sure, but I'm not saying like cups or anything. So like I said, it's more about money and who you're merging with, and finding people that are going to be able to be not just a healthy balance, but they're going to be able to kind of like be on your level, right? Because you're really looking to kind of level things up right now. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let me know. Hopefully that plays out. It looks really positive in the fall, especially that there's something coming. Thanks, JW, got your payment. So I'm going to take Miss Fogel, Kayla, JW, and Alicia. And I've got you too, Anoya. Hey, Fiona, I've got you as well. You're very welcome. All right, Kayla, so I've got you. And no, I take that back. It's gonna be Fogel, and then Kayla. We're gonna call last call in 5 minutes, guys. If you want to get your reading, you can make your donation right here to the right. Miss Fogel, part of the Libra Rising gang. There's a number of us here tonight. Libra Rising, Virgo Sun, Cancer Moon. Girl, I know your chart. The Capricorn. Libra Rising, maybe. No birth time. You better ask his mama. He came back, but it all went haywire. What do the cards say, and what is going on with him? The Capricorn. Why are Libra Risings such... We're so soft for Capricorn Sun. It's in your 4th house. You better not let that man in your house. He'll never leave. All right, let's take a look. And also just a word to the wise, you know, Libra risings in general, guys, Pluto is still in Capricorn. It's still going to be in Capricorn into next spring. All right. So when you're dealing with men or toxic situations or toxic family members or Capricorns in general, my eyes always get really big when I'm talking to a client. They're like, they're a Capricorn. I'm like, watch out. That could be your Pluto transit. Not judging people, but it does sometimes. So let's see, what does the Capricorn want? He came back, it was all haywire. What is going on? Okay, so it's not just me. I swore off Capricorn placements a long time ago. I was like, no, I got 4 planets in Capricorn. I'm the boss. This is my house. Three of Wands reverse. So what's the deal? He was passing through. Was this somebody who was like trying to stay briefly, or was visiting? Were you visiting? Three of Wands reversed is like saying, thought we were going somewhere, but it ended up kind of not going down the path, you know, that I thought it was going to go. Direction wise, it could have seemed really positive at first, the connection and the fact that maybe you guys were talking about things or making plans. But Three of Wands makes me feel like before you got too far down that road, you pulled the rug out from underneath it and was like, hi, I do not want to get on this merry-go-round again. Like, I'm not trying to go there and deal with that. So that's the positive side of this, right? It's also about foresight. So Three of Wands is about being able to be like, I could see this going on and that going on and this going on. So to me, it seems like you caught a lot of the red flags early. That's a good thing, right? And that you weren't entirely too down with what you were starting to see or how it could have actually fully transpired. Four of Cups. So also I kind of get the impression that perhaps maybe somebody took off a little bit too soon, or somebody took off without really kind of talking to you about what they were doing or what direction they were going in, and it left you kind of feeling high and dry. When I see this card, I always tell people, here's the deal. Don't cry over spilled milk. Realize that Three of Cups is at your feet. You've got the Ace of Cups being handed to you. So it's saying don't lose sight of the fact that there is still love available. I don't think it's with him. I'm just going to tell you right now. Also, Three of Cups is going on there. There could have been a third person involved. I get the impression that this was somebody that was like coming up for air after being involved in a difficult situation and was like, let me see what she's doing. And wasn't either totally healed or was not totally out of another situation. So he came in really quick, but he left really quick, right? Three of Cups is saying, like, be mindful, you know, suss out the situation. I think there's another person involved. The Ace of Cups being handed to you is saying just because that didn't pan out doesn't mean that you still don't have an opportunity for relationships. And the Chariot reverse, girl, was this guy trying to like talk to you about living together? Were you trying to talk about moving in together? Was he trying to be like, what's up? Come with me somewhere. We could live together. We could move somewhere. To me, this seems like it went really quick. And I'm also, yeah. And of course, the Chariot reversed is like, you know, I mean, it's like watching a chariot go down a road and the wheels fall off and you see the whole thing tumble and it's just like it's like a ancient car wreck. This was a car accident waiting to happen. Sometimes this card comes up when it's kind of saying like, this person thought they had a vision for where we were going, but their vision and then actually how they went about it, it was like a hot ass mess. I will say to you that, I will ask you, I'm curious, did this involve like travel, moving in together, or a car? Like, what's the deal? Right? I think Libra Risings, like, get to a point where they start to kind of like realize they're like, you know, like this is a little too suspicious. Like this person's coming in like really hot and I don't really know if they can come in this quickly, they can leave pretty quick. Was there anything left behind? That's my other question, because sometimes the cards can come up like this that are signifying like something was left behind, or there was something left open, so that person would reach out and kind of communicate and like try to still get a reaction out of you. Just knowing that you're Libra rising, and I think I don't remember the degree, but you know, Mars is in Aries right now. It's in your 7th house. So, you know, what's going to be happening here very soon is Mars is going to come into a square with Pluto, which means you're finally going to say, that's it. The past is in the past. Well, no, I think his living situation might be. Okay. So, you know, there's something changing. Either somebody is in the process of moving, getting ready to move. They might reach back out. They might not talk to you. They might talk to you about something before they leave. They might say, hey, did I leave something in your car? Can I reconnect with you before I go somewhere else? I would just be really careful. I think you dodged a bullet, because it makes me feel like before things could have gotten really chaotic with this person, especially if you would have invited that person into your space, or if you would have talked about making changes in your living situation or something like that, it would have been a hot mess. So, in conclusion, you avoided and dodged a bullet. I also feel like, you know, he can be feeling right now like he's not getting the response from you that he would want. So I don't know if it's just like you shut it down or like what the deal was. not living with me. You blocked him. That's the Four of Cups. It's like him being like, damn, like usually she would put up with my bullshit, but you're like, no, this is too crazy for me. I feel like it was a good thing that you turned this loose. And although it's still kind of emotionally disruptive, I think the Chariot Reverse is also saying that it kind of broke down to, I think, to like protect you, as weird as it sounds. Like it could have been something that sped up very quickly and things got chaotic real quick because that wasn't along your path. Hopefully that was helpful. What's up, Kobe? Thank Lizette, I got you. It's nice to see you. It's so funny, I was thinking about you the other day, and I don't know if you watched one of my stories, but I saw you in your graduation cap. You had like a cap on, if I am correct me if I'm wrong. But I saw that picture and I started laughing and I was like, man, I remember when I was talking to her when she was getting ready to go to school, and then I was like, fuck, I'm old. I was like, I'm getting old if I'm watching my clients graduate and remembering when I was reading for them. But hopefully you're doing well. Oh man, if you guys are just tuning in, we have already called last call, but don't worry, you can get in and get a reading. I'll let you guys know when we're going to be doing the next reading. We're going to change things around a little bit this week. All right, so we got Kayla. Congratulations, going to law school. I was like, I'm so old. I was like thinking about the reading that you had and everything that was going on just randomly popped into my brain. I remember the whole conversation, by the way, the whole thing about the relationship, all of it. And I was like, wow, look at her. Look at her doing big things. Okay, so Kayla, thank you, Kayla, for sending it again. Wondering if this job promotion is good for me. I'm a nurse in behavioral health and my midheaven is in Cancer. My clinic manager is leaving. It might open up to more freedom for me and my son. Advice. Let's take a look. I told you exactly where I would go to law school. There you go. That's the testament. That was a long time ago too. That was a long time ago. All right, so let's see what's going on for Kayla. Looks like she's got a promotion. She wants to know if it's good for her. Kayla, I gotta tell you, Saturn's coming in conjunction somewhere around your Aquarius placement. So it's about responsibility and making decisions, sometimes in regards to your career, especially to be able to better provide for your son. It's your 5th house. So let's take a look. Let's see what the cards say. I feel like a lot of opportunity for career advancement is coming up for Libra Risings. A lot of that is because you've got the sun coming into your 10th house soon. You've got Jupiter in your 7th squaring. It may require a little bit more of traveling. So you may have to possibly have more of a commute or more hours, or there's something like that kind of going on. Maybe you've been doubting whether or not you can swing it with the squares to Neptune. So let's take a look and let's see. So we've got 7 of coins. So it tells me that you're reflecting on this, kind of saying like, okay, it may not be a huge jump immediately, but you see the potential, right? Like you see that if you're possibly planting the seeds and saying, well, if I put in my time, if I put in my focus, you know, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to pay out, right? And the 7 of coins, it's kind of like when you're planting seeds, right, in the spring and going like, all right, these things better grow, otherwise I ain't eating. It's that kind of a situation. So it's also you being really cautious about uprooting and kind of making a change in where you've been because you don't want to leave a good situation the way that it is now, or perhaps maybe the flexibility that you're having with the schedule that you're having at this moment. Then we have the Magician. So what's interesting is, like, to me, it seems like you've been manifesting or focusing on setting your intentions on growth, financial growth, not just being able to like make money and pay the bills, but like saving and having money away so you have resources to do things with. If you wanted to invest it, if you wanted to put it into property, anything like that. Remember, as a Libra rising, you have Uranus in your 8th house right now. And these eclipses are bringing in themes about receiving. So you could receive benefits, you can receive better insurance, you can receive inheritances, all kinds of stuff. So there is stuff about you receiving kind of coming up. Everybody say hi to Tarot Destroyer. Thank you for joining us on Saturday while we are celebrating the Dark Lord and reading tarot cards. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the history lesson. I appreciate that. But the Magician basically coming up it's saying that you've been setting these intentions and you've been asking for these opportunities to come about. So it's important that while you're in this phase, you're not doubting, right? So we don't want to doubt. We don't want to do that. We want to focus on being like, yes, I'm open to receive that. Sometimes when the Magician comes up, you can feel as if like, it's like, is it too good to be true? Like, is there something going on that's too good to be true, right? It's like, can I trust this? And then once again, we have the Chariot Reverse. Kayla, here's my question. Is there a potential that you're going to be traveling more? Is there a potential that you are afraid that it's going to lead to you needing to make some changes around the household? Are you concerned about getting back and forth places? Are you concerned about getting your son to and from school? Like, what's the deal here? Do you feel like it would be too chaotic? Would you be on call? Anything of that nature? Let me know. Because I have a feeling that's more or less what's going to be kind of happening. That you're like, well, I can do it, but is it going to be too much? And is it going to be really busy? The Chariot Reverse is saying it's important for you to prepare and think about what direction you're going in, right? Now, does it mean that it's a good move? It's saying that you're going to have to make a decision pretty quickly, probably while you're in the midst of some of these transits that are going to be going on in Cancer. Yes, because his dad lives 30 minutes away. Okay. So really, in my opinion, the more challenging aspect of what's going on is going to be sorting out anything in regards to transportation. And yeah, it may be a little tricky having conversations, talking with baby daddy and other things about, you know, how you're going to be able to get your son back and forth. But I see a lot of potential here for you, that it's not just going to be you get in and then you're just like working and hoping that there is going to be a reward. There will be a reward within 6 or 7 months. And you will also find that it's opening the door for you to feel like you have more resources, better benefits, but also growth in the position for the future. So it's worth at least examining and trying to decide and kind of sorting and sifting through whether or not it's worth, you know, disrupting the apple cart a little bit at home. I hate to break it to you, but it's like, girl, Saturn rules your fourth house. It's in your fifth and it's squaring with Uranus, which means you're needing to have lots of conversations with partners about children and timing and schedules and getting, you know, kids places or what you're affording, you know, for kids. I would say disrupt the apple cart. I know they want you to start soon. It can be maybe perhaps a little bit easier because you're doing this over the summertime. So at least you can start the process of taking the new job and you get into the swing of it before possibly having your son go back to school. That's another way that I would look at it. But I think it's worth taking the chance. And I would be really, really, really careful with doubting yourself, worrying about how it's going to pan out. Keep in mind that this Magician wouldn't be coming up unless you have literally been working really hard on manifesting this stuff coming into your life, because it's not going to be about you working an insane, hectic schedule. It's going to be about you working so you can get ahead a little bit, so you can feel like you can have more time to enjoy your time off and be feeling like you can be reinvesting in yourself. You know, I think it's a great opportunity. I would say follow it up. And if you do have to make that change, I have a feeling it's coming with the Sun opposed Pluto. When the Sun goes into Cancer and it makes an opposition to Pluto and it's squaring your 7th house, it's going to be you being like, this is what I have to do for me. And there will be challenges to ex-relationships. There will be challenges to your family, but something needs to change. You know, this is the last Sun-Pluto opposition before Pluto goes into Aquarius. So you might want to reflect back on the last 10 years or so. Whenever the Sun opposed Pluto, it always represents where you feel like you need to focus on your professional growth or managing something. Looks good. Just be careful with that schedule with driving. The back and forth looks like it can get a little hectic. Plan it out is my advice. Hopefully that's helpful. We've got JW, Alicia, Tonya, Alexandra, Lizette. I'm going to switch over. Welcome, Hope, to level 1. Thanks for your donation. I want to switch over and get to the super chat people really quick. And okay, so we've got Anoya. How's it going? So she says, I'm a Pisces Sun, Cancer Ascendant, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Saturn in Aquarius. Ooh! I like all that in your 8th house. That's an interesting transit right now. My Leo and I had a disagreement and decided to take a break. I would like to know if we will reconcile. Okay, Pisces Sun, Cancer Ascendant. So let's take a look. you know, obviously, if you know your placements, Saturn going through your 8th house right now in conjunction to your moon, Venus, Mars, can be about passion, and it can be about people getting very passionate about things and get very intense, especially when it comes to intense emotions and things that require both parties to go through change and transformation. Intense talks about security, stability, finances, the list goes on. So it makes sense. And just knowing that you are dating, have been dating a Leo, and Leo is in opposition to Saturn. Watch for what's going on in July going into August, because it's going to activate those squares and perhaps bring some stuff up for you. Let me go back to the chat. Let's see. There we go. I got you, Fiona. Don't worry. So let's see if you're going to reconcile with your Leo. Well, 8 of Swords reversed. There's been a couple of cards that have been coming up like repetitively. It's kind of wild. 8 of Swords reversed is talking about you being in a situation where you're feeling stuck. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know if it's a good idea to reach out or not reach out. Do I say something? Do I not say something? There also is this feeling that I just saw what you said about lashing out. Have you been like walking on eggshells for a little bit? Has there been a sense of you like not really talking about how you really feel, or that you've been holding it in, or that, you know, it just so happened you got caught in a situation where you just kind of, you blew up? 8 of Swords reversed is removing all of the anxiety or anything revolving around whether or not you will or will not talk, whether or not you're stuck, whether or not you're going to be able to you know, talk to this person again. It's basically saying finding ways to kind of deal with anxiety and feeling like you're removing yourself from a situation where you feel kind of isolated. Taking a chill pill, basically, breathing. The next card that we get is the 4 of Swords, and that card is coming up upright for you. So that tells me that it literally is a break. It can be about, you know, 4 weeks long. That's the kind of the feeling that I'm getting. This is like a cooling off period, a resting period. This is a card that also comes up that talks about like needing to do more than just taking a break, like also needing to take time to unwind, right? That's really important for you right now. Yes, because a lot of life changes, bought a house, a new job, and I didn't want to overwhelm him. Okay. So I get it, I understand, but I feel like this is partially because you've been holding on to everything. And like, listen, being a Cancer rising, now that Jupiter is in your 10th house, you are having more responsibility. Your career, your schedule, all kinds of things. I know you feel like it's landing all on you, right? But Jupiter squares are good changes. To me, this feels like taking the time to not be in as much contact, taking the time to kind of reflect and rest and take time to really think about, you know, if you can be in a relationship with somebody where you're constantly feeling like you can't put stuff on them, right? Because eventually you might see the same situation kind of pan out again. And then I get the 9 of Cups reversed. So it makes me feel like, because the 9 of Cups is a positive card, it does talk about getting what you want. It may not fully play out the way that you want it to. I look at this and I go, you know, I don't really feel like you want to go an extended period of time of not talking. I don't think that's what you want. But I think it's going to be good for your mental health. I think it's also going to be good for getting some stuff in check and helping you really reflect on what do I want, right? Not necessarily with him, but just in life in general, right? 9 of Cups is usually a happy ending, even if it's reversed. It's just saying it may not totally pan out the way that you want it to. If you're in a situation where you're like, wow, I'm hoping he reaches out to me. I hope he checks in with me to see how I'm doing. Like, you may not get a lot of that. There may be a sense of like complete dead silence that's going on for a couple of weeks. And, you know, it doesn't mean that it's over. I think the 9 of Cups also can indicate after about 4 weeks time, there's like this realization that you're like, you know what, I know what I want. This person does make me happy, but I need to focus on making me happy as well. And if that means that I need to be, you know, having some breathing room for him, not just right now, but I mean in general. Sometimes Cancer risings in relationships, especially with Saturn transits, there can be a sense of like being overly nurturing or feeling like this constant need to like be around somebody or to be helping them or taking care of them. And you'll just take it on, take it on, take it on, take it on. So I think this is you realizing that you really do need to have more balance and be finding that you're doing things for you and not always feel like you're kind of holding back your true feelings because you don't want to, you know, put on someone else, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're hoping he checks in. He may not. You may not really hear anything. That's the thing that I would say. And if you do, the Nine of Cups reversed would literally be a situation where somebody has a night, they have a couple too many drinks, they get emotional, you know, they reach out. But I don't really see a lot of connection. So I do think all is well in the end. I do think it's going to pan out fine. But I also feel like be careful with this Eight of Swords and this Four of Swords in saying you want the space, but being like, okay, why didn't he check in with me? This is about the mental and the emotional. The mental says, I need breathing room. I need space. I need the 2 months. That's what I need. Leave me alone. But the Nine of Cups makes me feel like you're going to be like, yeah, but where is he? Why isn't he calling me, telling me he misses me? You know? And I think that you're going to actually realize that even though you're saying 2 months, I will be surprised. I think it's going to be, you know, somewhere between, you know, 4 and 6 weeks. That there's this shift and you're going to be like, can we just get dinner? Can we just sit down? Can we talk? Can we, you know, get together? Can we have a drink and talk this out because I miss you? It doesn't seem like it's like some dramatic showdown, right? I don't see that being the case. However, I will say, being a Cancer rising, part of what's coming is you're getting ready to see that there's going to be squares to Pluto. Okay, so as the sun comes into opposition to Pluto and it squares Mars, there is still going to be a situation where people are going to try to, in a relationship sense or in a business sense, really try to get a rise out of you. So watch for that later. It's going to be coming within the next month or so. And enjoy the time that you have on your own. This isn't just being about, I need time away from him to clear my mind. It's like, I just want to be alone and have a good time without this other person. And what does your life feel like not having him around? Because if you do go back, perhaps maybe having a heart-to-heart and being like, I need to feel personally, like I can be my most emotional, authentic self. So you're not feeling like you're having to hold back and then having the blow up, you know? Hopefully that's helpful for you. I've also got Fiona. I got you, Fiona. Don't worry. Fiona says, I want a 3-card reading. Ended it with my Libra rising last night. Would love to know what is next, please. Oh my goodness. It's like all the Libra risings. All the Libra risings. Are you guys all like looking fabulous on a Saturday night at home with your comfy attire and a full face of makeup and a big glass of wine? Painting your nails, listening to everybody's drama. Libra risings, we love the tea, huh? Let's take a look. So Fiona ended it. Oh, well, if he's got Venus in Cancer, he's going to come back. They always come back to mama. When you have somebody's ascendant, somebody's Venus conjunct your ascendant, it's like they always come back around. Don't worry. All right, so let's see, Fiona, what you need to know about having ended it. I want to pull that one too. With your dude. This card was jumping out at me, the Star card. And that does talk about something healing or very therapeutic. Sometimes that can be a card that comes up that's like, we can be friends. Sometimes, it depends on the other cards. But this can also be the card that comes back that's like, I'm throwing him back into the pond. You know, it's like, nope, tossing the fish back sometimes. So the Star card does talk about something healing and therapeutic kind of going on. That card was jumping out at me. Here we go. We see the Chariot again. So this talks about home, movement, emotions, staying really connected to what the plan is, the cosmic divine plan. What I like about the Chariot card, finally we got it upright, it's basically saying that you're in alignment, your actions and your emotions are in alignment. It's not a situation where you're like, I'm emotionally all over the place, but I'm acting fine, and vice versa, right? The Chariot's like, I'm focused on home, I'm trying to build a life, I'm really listening to my intuition. And if you felt for whatever reason that this was probably going to end sweeter if you cut it off sooner rather than later, because it might have interfered with your plan and it might have also hindered your ability to be friends, that it looks like it was a good move, right? The Chariot's also saying you're following the advice of your intuition or the cosmos. And so you don't need me to tell you, being a Libra rising, the Uranus transit that's going through technically your whole sign 8 does talk about a lot of karmic undoing from people. Can be friends, can be investors, it can be people that you're, you know, intimately involved with. Relationships can kind of turn on a dime. People can come and go. And you're a Taurus and there's eclipses happening in your sign. So there's lots going on in regards to prominent people coming in and prominent people going out. Queen of Wands reversed. So I guess my issue here with the Queen of Wands reversed is that you might have found that you were getting agitated, or that you're getting annoyed, or that maybe you were feeling kind of short-tempered, or that there was something going on where you were noticing the connection was bringing out a side in you that you weren't really feeling. Perhaps maybe you felt like you were in charge, or that you were the one calling the shots, or that you were having to kind of assert yourself more. And you may not have liked that, or there may have been a sense of you just kind of getting over it. So you said he was clingy. He was the one at the South Node on my angles. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, you know, and I remember saying to you, not that I'm knocking South Node relationships, but the South Node can eventually feel overbearing, and it can feel like glue and something that's globbing onto you and draining you, especially when it's connected to your angular parts of your chart. So the Queen of Wands is like saying, like, get out of here, this is annoying, like, beat it, you know? And maybe you were realizing that that's not usually how you respond in relationships, so, you know, you kind of felt the need to be like, I'm gonna keep things moving. And the Two of Swords is coming up reversed. So what does this mean? Are you doubting it? Are you like, did I overreact? Did I not, you know, how could I have handled things better? I would say don't doubt yourself. I feel like cutting it sooner rather than later was a good move. I also feel like that there's going to be less downtime and less kind of playing like upkeep and like trying to kind of fix the situation or mourning over someone. I'm not going to say you don't care, but the cards are kind of insinuating that you were like, no, I had to make the cut. I had to move forward. It wasn't a good match because I found that I was getting frustrated. And the Two of Swords reversed can be talking about, you know, needing to pick a lane and stick with it. If you've got a lot of Libra, if you've got a lot of 7th house placements, and on top of that, you've also got a Libra rising, you can be a little indecisive. So I would say if you're asking this question as confirmation as to whether or not you made the right move, yes, you did. But I would say that there is a sense of you going like, well, can we be friendly? Can we not? Do I apologize? Do I like mend things? I would say leave it be. You probably want to leave it be for a couple days. And likely it will come to you. You know, Two of Swords reverse will be like, if you feel like you want to keep this friendship, you'll reach out and you'll, you know, kind of bury the hatchet and smooth things over so you guys can be cool. But personally, I kind of feel like the Two of Swords, the Queen of Wands, both reversed with the Star card, is you being like, no, I got to keep things moving. It may not be best for me to be super chit-chatty with him because it can almost give him false hope, or a sense that there's still something, you know, possible between both of us. Keep in mind, the eclipses are still shaking out. So being that you had eclipses going on in your 7th, that solar eclipse that we had, and a Mercury retrograde through part of your 7th, has been miscommunications and issues in regards to other people. And if you found that it was time to kind of cut somebody and sever someone, don't worry. Okay, you have 6 months until you build into what will eventually be that full moon lunar eclipse in the fall. And that's going to be a major conclusion in regards to relationships in general. But I think this one is definitely good that you kind of turned him loose. And I also feel like it's going to help you be more present with the moving situation and like not feeling like you have to make decisions because of somebody who's in the back of your mind. And so perhaps maybe subconsciously there was something going on where you were like, I really need freedom right now, and this person's kind of tethering me. And yeah, you kind of lost it. Hopefully you're doing well with that breakdown. I'm sorry to hear that that happened, but I think it was good that you turned him loose. And I'm excited to see what your next adventure is, especially because it seems like there's lots of things shaping up, possibly with like a move or a living situation. All right, so we got you two. Thanks, Hope. I'll add you. You're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the line. So we got a couple people. Thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it. So JW, what's going on? How are you? I would like to know about the relationship with Lauren. I have married her, we've gotten divorced, and she got a restraining order against me. And now I know from a police officer that she was cheating on me when we got back together. And then that's when the revolution happened. Things happened really negatively. and I was completely bombarded and manipulated from the justice system. And now I feel that the justice system is finally going to get justice from me. I am a Taurus sun, Aries moon, Scorpio rising. She is a Capricorn sun, Virgo sun, Cap rising, Leo moon in tropical. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. But Scorpio rising, I mean, having an eclipse, that happened recently in your 7th house, you know, that's a lot. So JW, if you're still here, let's take a look. If you want to know about the relationship with Lauren, what happened? So you got divorced, you got a restraining order. To me, it sounds like the Saturn-Uranus stuff that's going on, the squares. Saturn can also be dealing with like police officers and stuff in regards to whether or not, you know, or judges, people can come around the home or property. And with the eclipse in the retrograde, what was that card? With the eclipse in the retrograde that has been going on, it's kind of bringing out all of this stuff, specifically in regards to relationships in the past. Now, the card that jumped out is the Page of Pentacles. Lizette, you can, but you don't have to. I have a question. Do you have kids together? Is there anything connected like that? I know that's a really strange question, but a page is coming up. And I know that you requested one card, but I just wanted to get a little bit more confirmation, because a page can be like talking about a kid. It can be talking about something innocent. It can be talking about something that was just, you know, it wasn't super touchy-feely. It wasn't super physical. But the Page of Pentacles, in my opinion, tells me that there was a physical connection with another person. That did happen. Being that she's a Cap rising, I'm not generalizing her, but, you know, Capricorn rising, you know, something going on in regards to the eclipses and the retrograde happening in her 5th. I mean, like, quite literally, that could materialize as somebody who had a sudden sporadic opportunity for a relationship or a lover that came in. She cheated on me with a police officer and then learned after in jail with a police officer. The police officer is pregnant. Yeah. She cheated on me with a police officer and learned after that the police officer is pregnant. Okay, yeah, I got you. I got you. So a child. So the Page of Pentacles can, in this situation, be saying there's proof. There's physical proof that there is a child. That's what this is. I was trying to figure out, is it your kid? Whose kid is it? And yeah, this did happen. Just as confirmation, the Star card, the Lovers, and the Knight of Cups. To me, I don't know when you guys broke up, separated, whatever, but I want you to go back and be thinking about sometime between what appears to be February and June of 2020. Okay, we're a lesbian couple. No, it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. But yeah, there is a kid. That's the physical, tangible proof. Like, I'm not saying that because you said that. The cards are saying that. And it does appear to be that there is a relationship that was going on, and it was happening sometime between February and June. Could have been 2020, could have been 2021, but definitely this is something that's been taking place. The other thing is that this does not seem to be like a solidified relationship. So it to me doesn't seem like it's a situation where they're like, okay, we're going to be married. Like, that's not what's coming up. The Star card coming up with the Lovers and the Knight of Cups is saying, like, taking things as they go, but also, you know, kind of getting wrapped up in what appears to be an affair. It could have been on more than one side. Obviously, it was on your side because you guys were married. We married May 11th, the day before my birthday. And this was last year? Because she's definitely pregnant. I mean, to me, it looks like there's going to be a kid that's going to be born sometime before, you know, January, February, March maybe of next year. The timing is interesting because it's talking about timing. So, sorry, I'm trying to assess this through the chat, but yeah. I mean, it's you know, Uranus in your 7th house, you could get married very quickly, but then it can end up being a situation where it's like, you know, they can leave just as quickly as they came in. And with the squares to Saturn, I feel like that's limitations revolving around whether or not that person can physically be around you or can be around your home. So I'm sitting in jail and hearing her speak with my ex-wife about it was incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah. Yeah. I mean, personally, I think that it's up to you what you decide to do. But to me, it does look like there is going to physically be a kid. Like there will be a kid that's going to come. It's not just because she is pregnant. It looks like the baby's going to come. Might be a boy. And the Lovers card coming up with the Star card is saying like, and I'm going to be honest with you, just knowing what's coming. I don't know what degree your ascendant is, but down the road here, you're going to see Mars retrograde. Mars is your chart ruler. It's going to retrograde in your 8th house, and it might dip into your 7th, which means people from the past can return, and it's going to square Neptune. So just a word to the wise for you, any other Scorpio rising that's listening, if you have had some back and forth on and off with a relationship, if you don't know if you can trust them, if there's been miscommunications, anything like that, you know, be very mindful about people who try to return. They come back, they say, hey, this didn't work out. Can we make things work? And they might show up at your house in some capacity, especially because Mars deals with documents. So if there is a restraining order, I would say be very careful. I'm not giving you legal advice, but be very careful, because if that person's coming in and they're trying to talk to you and they're trying to come around you or your home and there is an order that's in effect, if they don't like the way that you're communicating with them, with the squares to Neptune, they could basically say, you know, okay, I'm going to try to screw you again. You have to be really careful being a Scorpio rising. Depending on the rest of the aspects in your chart, between Saturn and Uranus, it's really trying to get you to break with the past and fully move forward into new relationships. And the interesting thing is that I do feel like there's healing that's going to come from the situation. I don't recommend trying to make amends and being friends with this person, because there is a likelihood with the Knight of Cups coming up in the Lovers and the Star card that this person will come back around and be like, well, can we be friends? Can we do this? Like, absolutely not. No. That's not somebody that you want to try to be friends with. And I'm not saying that because of what they did. I'm saying that because it's not a trustworthy dynamic. But I will tell you that there was an incident, because it does look like there's going to be a kid. And, you know, something else I would say, God bless Scorpio rising, Aries moon. I'm a Scorpio sun, Aries moon. Be very careful with trying to inflict the stinger, because part of what's going on right now with Jupiter going into the 6th house is that there can be all kinds of unnecessary financial things that go on in regards to like law and legality, right? So you might have to pay legal fees. You might get so angry you wind up in jail and you need to get bailed. Like, be very careful with some of those transits that you're having. Her partner is a police officer that's pregnant. I don't know what happened. It's just when another psychic told me to. Yeah, there's definitely a kid though. I'm sorry to hear. That's really difficult. But I'm telling you right now, I know with the transits that you're having that you may get taunted. There may be things that happen where if she tries to come back around and you say no, she's going to try to do something that's going to create either more legal or law issues that is going to be very financially burdensome. So be very, very careful. I'm sorry to hear that's difficult, but you know what? Jupiter's going into Taurus next year. So Jupiter going into Taurus tells me that you've got much bigger, better things on the horizon when it comes to relationships next year. All right, so we've got Alicia, Christiana, Tonya, Alexandra, Lizette, Deanna. Thank you guys for your patience. How's everybody doing? What are you guys drinking? That's what I want to know. Can I have some? All right, so we have got Alicia. Hi, Candace. I was recently fired from a job and wanted to see what's next for me. Lately, I've been dreaming of being self-employed doing art, but I don't know if that path would be successful. I'm an Aries sun, Taurus moon, Sag rising. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, congratulations on a new opportunity. I do see brighter things in your future. Being that you're a Sag rising, your chart ruler Jupiter just moved into your 5th house, which literally can be about being self-employed or being creative. Mars is there, feeling a lot of drive to be able to do that. Obviously, money may be tight with the squares to Pluto, but nevertheless, it's a good indication that it's giving you some insight as to what you could be starting this year that could be new for you in the professional realm. I could also see you reevaluating it a little bit more. You know, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde between the signs of Virgo and Libra. That's going to be happening in the fall. That'll be another opportunity for you to reevaluate what you want to do and if you're going back. So let's take a look. What's next for you? Aries Sun, Taurus Moon, Sag Rising. So you have your Sun also in the 5th. Great opportunity for creativity. Your Moon's in Taurus. So that's also causes some fluctuation, I think, a little bit with stability. Is your Moon in the 5th or is it in the 6th? Whole sign at 6. Uranus is there. So it can be lots of emotional ups and downs kind of going on for you. I get 4 of Swords reversed. So it's kind of feeling like there's a little bit of like you recuperating and bouncing back a little bit. Feeling like you need some time to rest and really like figure out what the next step is. Like it's not a situation where I see you immediately jumping into another job. I see it more being a situation where you're like, okay, maybe I need to take this opportunity to really like reflect and ask myself, like, what do I want to do? Okay, so Taurus Moon in the 6th house. I would say to you that I get the impression, especially as we start to see next year, when Jupiter goes into Taurus, it'll go into your whole sign 6th, right? It's going to hit your Moon, which means it's going to give you the opportunity to perhaps start making more money and having more resources by doing art in your day-to-day. It might take until next spring, right? But right now, to me, it seems like, you know, there is a need for you to really like reflect on like taking this downtime and like really reflecting on what you need in your day-to-day, right? 4 of Swords reversed makes me feel like you want to jump into action, but your energy levels, your body is saying, no, we need to kind of focus on healing. 7 of Coins reversed is the feeling that money is tight, or it can be challenging for you to feel like you can't really invest a lot right now, right? You got Pluto that's hanging out in your 2nd house. Mars is going to square it. So it's not a situation where you want to run out and be like, yeah, I'm going to go and buy all the art supplies and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and launch the business. Like you do have to be resourceful. So there is a sense of you being mindful of what you're investing in. And especially if you're starting to look more into like creative stuff and hobbies, I would say instead of going like balls to the wall, buying all the products, sample things. So depending on what it is you want to do creatively, a Sag rising with an Aries Sun and also in any placements going on currently through your 5th house, you need to be able to do it quickly. You need to be able to do it independently. I would question, depending on what sign your Mars is in, if you have an interest in anything in regards to carving, melting things, anything in regards to like jewelry making, things that you might burn or things that might be heated. So I don't know if you're like, I want to make pottery or something like that. Oh, your Mars is in Cancer. Okay. So if you have Mars in Cancer, then your Mars is going to be in the 8th house. So it's things that you transform, right? So it's something that you transform, possibly working in the home. It might deal with like femininity. It might deal with the moon. You want to sell macrame and candles. Okay, cool. So knitting, that can be what I guess, macrame. Do you use the needles? That would be Mars, Aries. Anyway, I'm getting super technical, but the cards are basically saying, take your time, invest little bits and see if you like it, right? From somebody who's had a candle business, been doing it off and on for years, it's awesome if you have Aries placements. It really is. But candles are a very specific science. Like you want to be careful because you need to understand the throw of the oils, how much wax, different kinds of wax, all the materials, the different scents, getting the right wick, making sure that it's not going to burn up overly fast. Like there's something to it that's amazing. Once you get it, especially if you have Aries placements, you can do very well. But you really want to just be mindful that it's a lot. You really want to properly educate yourself before you make candles. For me, it makes me feel like you're going to try a couple things, you're going to keep it reasonable, and you're going to be like, okay, if I enjoy doing it and if it's worth putting more money into it, I will, but don't go too crazy up front. And then here we have the Death card, which is insinuating that there is a change that's coming. In my opinion, I have a feeling that this can be talking about going back and doing some kind of work that's supplementary until you can make the final kind of change, which is probably going to be coming around eclipses. So the eclipses are going to be end of October, beginning of November. We're going to have them the end of April, beginning of May next year. Just knowing what I know about your transits, you may be able to be making money and doing it more regularly next year. And as a Sag rising, Pluto's going into your third, so that's going to be opportunities to make more and have more resources as you're selling online and you're doing something. I mean, listen, the North Node's in Taurus, so people who are used to working particular jobs that aren't really panning out, they're having to figure out how to do something that they can do naturally with their hands or something that they enjoy, that's like artisan, right? So I feel like a lot of people would benefit from learning how to do these things because the direction that the world is going astrologically, I'm not going to like go on my conspiracy theorist rant right now, but if you can make candles, if you can make soap, if you can stitch things or knit things, if you can grow things, if you can be able to trade locally, sell locally, and if also you want to have your own thing, these are really good ideas for people to start thinking about. Like I myself, I have a business, but I'm like, teaching myself to make soap and like do other things because it's something that I want to do, but I also feel like it can be resourceful. So for you, it's about embracing this change and not beating yourself up if you're not immediately making money, because the Death card can also be about resources and whether or not people are buying stuff. So you have to justify the money that you're putting into it, right? Obviously, sample a little bit, see what you like, stay in this for the next 6 or 7 months. If you find that there's something you keep coming back to or that you want to put more into in terms of resources, I feel like you can. But there's also something weighing on you that's like, I need to be able to make money in the meantime. So you might do something to kind of counterbalance that to be able to help you resources in terms of resources until you can finally make the segue, which might be closer to spring of next year. Hopefully that's helpful. I know change is scary, especially for a Taurus moon, but being that you have all that fire in your chart, it's like things are moving very quickly and what you're feeling inspired to do is likely what's going to stick. Alexandra, you're so welcome. Thank you very much. Mike is my partner in crime. All right, so who else do we have here? Let's see. Sorry, my PayPal's taking a second. Here we go. Okay. So let's see, who do we have next? Christiana, then we have Tonya, Alexandra, Lizette, Deanna. So Christiana says, hi, I'm Chris on YouTube. Will be moving out of New York be good for my family? Good question. You're welcome, AM. Good luck. All right, Chris, let's see if moving out of state to New York will be good for your family. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Do you know other people there? Do you have friends there? Is there going to be like a party that's going to be happening? Three of Cups can be like celebration, people celebrating that you're around, or being able to have like a welcoming party, being able to celebrate with your family, enjoying where you're going to be landing. It's about having good times. It's weird because I'm wondering, like, are you moving to a part outside of the city by any chance? Like, I mean, I know that sounds weird, but are you going to be moving somewhere that's going to be closer to like nature, or not exactly in the heart of like a major city, or that there's going to be a little bit more fresh air and, you know, connection to outdoors? This is a card that deals with being outside, having a good time, being able to be with friends, being able to be with family, celebrating together, feeling like there's a sense of joy. Like, personally, I don't think I could have picked a much better card. Maybe 10 of Cups, right? Maybe Ace of Cups, but the 3 of Cups is saying it's like the 3 amigos. So I don't know if you're going there and you're meeting other friends and family who are also already living there, so they're going to be celebrating that you're around, but there's something like this going on. And to me, it seems like it's going to be like a really positive thing once you get there, because you're going to be like, okay, we have community, or we have friends, or we have like-minded people. If you're moving to a space where you don't know anyone, it makes me feel like it's going to feel like home, and you're going to be meeting people that are going to make you feel secure, and also it's going to like reinforce the fact that you made a good move. Also, if you're moving, because I know you're asking about your family, if you're moving, you might see a positive shift happening with some of your family members, where it's like if you've got kids or if you've got a partner or whatever, and they're like, you know what, I'm really happy here. Like, this feels like this was a good move. I'm glad that we did this. In the end, it looks like it's going to go well. Sometimes, right, because we have the Ace and the Two of Cups prior to this, there can be a sense of like making a decision that's best for you or another person and hoping that another family member is going to adjust well. But in my opinion, it looks like that's going to happen. And I would say, I don't know what's going on. If you guys have a party to introduce yourself to people there, if you end up having people to come visit you, if somebody says like welcome or welcome back, it seems like you're going to get some kind of welcoming. So it looks like it's a good move. I really do think so. Let me know. Okay. So we've got Tonya. What's up, Tonya? I hope you're doing well. I do not see your question, so let me know what your question is. Let me know, Tonya. Oh, moving out of New York. Okay. Well, then moving out of New York looks like it's a good move. But I'm wondering, do you know somebody where you're going? I'd be interested, Chris, because it does seem like there's going to be some kind of celebration. So you're moving out of the city. Three of Cups is like not being in a really urban area. So it looks like you're going to be like, oh, we can breathe. We've got time outside, you know, or just really enjoying the space that you're in, feeling like you can get out and do more. Cap Sun, Gemini rising. So Jupiter in Aries means it was a swift move. I'm going to switch decks really quick. It's a good move. Jupiter going into your 4th with Mars there. Just going to be a lot of change, you know, adjusting to that. I think it's a good move. Three of Cups is definitely, that would be a card. If I were to be moving, I'd be like, okay. You know, I feel like it's gonna end up being fine. I'm going to socialize. I'm going to know people. Okay, Tonya. She says, I'm here. If it helps my placement of Virgo rising, Aries sun, Venus, Saturn, Mercury in the 8th house. Whoa. Sag moon in the 4th. Sun, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury in the 8th? How are you doing with the Jupiter transit? Are you feeling the transformation yet? But yes, I can do a general reading for you. Let's take a look. So what does Tonya need to know? We're going to do a general reading. Seven of Swords, Three of Swords, Page of Pentacles reversed. Girl. Okay. Seven of Swords talks about questioning and going back and forth as to whether or not you can trust something, or possibly dealing with some kind of difficult or challenging news, having to like release or let go of something or someone, okay? I'm just thinking you got all those planets in Aries. It's hanging out in your 8th house. Mars is there, Jupiter is there, right? So Mars rules your 8th house, which is about transformation, death, release. Jupiter rules your 4th house. It's also connected to your moon, which is endings, release, letting go. Yep. Moving, starting new business, getting out more. Here's the thing. If you have been, for the better part of the last several months or a year or so, feeling like you have been stuck and not able to move forward, if you've been dealing with grief, If you've been afraid to create change, if you've been trying to work up the courage to let go of things and like start over, this is a lot going on for you psychologically and emotionally. Part of me feels inclined to tell you a lot of this is about proceeding forward without fear. It's also about proceeding forward and not allowing doubt to creep in and kind of freak you out or tempt you into thinking worst case scenario. Nevertheless, 7 of Swords and 3 of Swords, like I can't really candy coat it. I mean, this is basically saying like learning to trust again, learning to be open again, learning to communicate like where you've had disappointment or where you've had hurt or pain. And it's required you to get really honest with yourself, which is so key with the 8th house. It's like you got to get honest, you got to get to the core of situations. And Aries is the self. So I'm wondering if there's been some stuff going on where you're like, you know what? Nobody's going to change this. I have to do it for myself. Or if I don't overcome this, if I don't start, you know, taking chances or taking risks and get out of a pattern of feeling like I'm stuck on the hamster wheel, things aren't going to change. And change is scary. But the 3 of Swords coming up with the Page of Pentacles is also about taking risks financially. And it's about you going, is this going to pan off? I'm putting my savings into this, or I'm, you know, taking out a loan to try to see if I can launch this. Like there's something that's changing and shifting, revolving around the way that you look at security. Whether that is emotional, you know, being emotionally vulnerable and being willing to take the risk of getting hurt again. Whether that's being willing to take risks in regards to investments, and possibly like the 8th house can deal with loans, and it can deal with credit, or it can deal with like facing situations that you've been afraid to face. So the sun is there. So it's like where you have gotten in your own way, where you have been your own worst enemy, and where you have continued to kind of not be so true to yourself and kind of put yourself in a hole, right? Or put yourself in a box. So what's interesting is that the Page of Pentacles reversed is saying, take your time when it comes to making physical change, right? So if you're trying to break old patterns and old mental habits, take your time, adjust, realize that, you know, give yourself some credit for turning over a new leaf. Virgo creates an inconjunct to Aries, which means the more that Aries tries to rush, the more that Virgo freaks out and gets analytical. And I say that because it's all quincunxing your ascendant, which means don't push yourself to go through a physical, dramatic transformation really quickly. Don't push yourself to feel like you have to change everything across the board, because all that Aries in your chart is going to be like, let's just burn it all down. And know also there's some Chiron stuff going on there right now for you as well. So as Chiron is moving through this part of your chart, it's about sexual healing, security, anything in regards to you really confronting things that bring fear. 8th house suns, if you got a sun with planets in your 8th house, you're going to act like a Scorpio. You're going to be a Scorpio that's a little bit more impatient and a little bit more reactionary, because all that 8th house energy is about change and transformation. But it's how you create that change and you initiate new things by confronting fear, shining a light in the dark, and being willing to like literally start over. It's about starting over. Selling houses, buying an RV, living in that, open to romance, just gotta get out of my own way, following your intuition. I mean, literally, all of these things, you know? And what's interesting is it's saying take it one step at a time. The Page of Pentacles is like how you would be with a kid, right? It's like being like, okay, so you fell off the bike, get back on, it's okay. Don't allow yourself to go down the Virgo rising spiral of being like, I could have done this, I should have done this, I should have done that. Like, don't beat yourself up. Know that Aries is about spurts, right? It's not like Sagittarius that can run, you know, a long distance race. It's more about being like, okay, I'm getting the feeling of creating change today. I'm going to create some changes. Not I'm going to go on a rampage and change everything at one time. Your body will get kind of agitated with that, and you just want to kind of slowly start taking your time. And I do get the impression that, you know, traveling more with Uranus in your 9th house is really positive, especially as the trines to Pluto. The more that you have freedom, the open road, the ability to go anywhere, to do anything new, you can learn, take courses, travel places, meet people. Your philosophy on what your life can be and your schedule is going to change. So I would say stay open to that. To me, it seems like you're moving through what's been a difficult kind of dark last couple of months, if not year or two. And you're on to bigger and better things. And if you're worried about resources, keep focusing on reminding yourself that, you know, you're here to also receive. All that 8th house is receiving. You're here to receive. You're not here to just give people. You're here to receive. So be open to receiving, sending you lots of good vibes on your adventure ahead. Giving yourself grace. Aries placements aren't known for being graceful. That's one thing I would say. They're definitely not. Kind of rough and tumble, you know? Exciting though. Where are you going to go with your RV? Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you. All right. So we've got Alexandra. Alexandra says, what do I need to know about Mr. Cap Sun, Taurus, Moon, and Rising? Do you want my opinion or do you want the card's opinion? Cap Sun, Taurus, Moon, Taurus, Rising. What an Earth Daddy. Does that guy have a nice voice? Taurus, Moon, Taurus, Rising. I like the 5th house sun though. It's like he's got a little bit of swagger. Or excuse me, the 9th house sun. Is he tall? Does he travel? Is he adventurous? Is he involved in marketing and sales and advertising? Cap Sun, Virgo rising, Cancer moon in the 11th. Okay, cool. So you were born around a full moon. So what do we need to know about this Capricorn? He is magical, the best love I've ever met. That's a lot coming from all that Earth. Virgo risings don't give out those compliments very often. All right, so let's see what the cards say. 4 of Cups reversed tells me that there is a sense of you breaking out of like pessimistic cycles. Like maybe there was this feeling of being like, nobody really interests me. You know, nobody's really worth my time. Maybe there's been a situation of you not being entirely too focused on romance or, you know, relationships or anything like that. But when the 4 of Cups comes up reversed, it's like something that kind of catches your eye, that kind of gets your attention and makes you kind of go like, oh, maybe I don't have to go through things alone. Maybe I don't have to be standoffish. Maybe maybe I'm a little bit drawn into this situation. If you find that you have really high standards, if you also find that it's rare that you like people, I think that this is like a genuine connection. It can be a connection with somebody who really kind of shakes you out of like your status quo. I would say that to anybody who's got a Virgo rising, but like really it's coming up with the cards as well. Then we have the 7 of Pentacles reversed. You want to be careful with like not putting all your eggs in one basket. And I don't mean that in a sense of it's not going to work, but 7 of Pentacles reversed is saying like don't rush into something right now. 7 of Pentacles is saying timing is everything, or I don't wonder if you're finding it difficult or challenging sometimes to actually get on the same schedule and see each other. I don't know if that's been a thing. But 7 of Pentacles reversed is like, is it safe? Do I invest my time? You know, can I see him more often? Is it difficult finding the time to see each other? You know, is it something that's like trustworthy? He is the list on deep levels, soul, passionate, very emotionally involved and conscious. I like it. And then the Lovers. I feel like there's a turning point coming. And the turning point seems to be coming somewhere around the end of June, going into July. So that's like somewhere, you know, the next 2 to 4 weeks. I feel like for you in the past, maybe there's been this sense of like being overly cautious in relationships and like really taking your time to get to know somebody, and that you might be finding that there's like a bit of a back and forth going on with your head and your heart, and your head is saying, be careful, take your time, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But your heart, the Lovers, is like, I gotta have it. It's like, I want that all the time. Like, and a really passionate, deep connection that you have to this other person. Being a Virgo rising, you've got Neptune in your 7th. You're still going to be having Jupiter retrograde back into your whole sign 7th. That's gonna expand your relationships later this year. It makes me feel like where other people didn't quite make you so zealous and excited about the idea of partnership, this one stirs something up that's completely different. Yeah, okay, the Lovers card can be about a soulmate connection. It can be about a very passionate connection, but my deck has 2 Lovers in it, and this is the one that does talk about more about being on the same path in terms of like a soul union. So it's not all physical, it's like somebody who's on the same wavelength as you. You guys want the same things out of life. There's some mirroring going on where like a lot of what you've been calling in, he's been calling in as well. And that you guys can be extremely complementary and supportive in terms of where you guys are going, like what you're becoming. If you guys both have a lot of Cap placement, you know, you don't need me to tell you, between the Pluto transits, between the Mars squares that you had in 2020, between all the Saturn and all that stuff, like you guys have really gone through the ringer. So a lot of Capricorns are very different now and had to go through a process, especially earlier this year, of like really reevaluating and focusing on healing your own inner issues and wounds so that way you could better partner with other people. In my opinion, just knowing that, you know, you're a Virgo rising and you've got all this energy going on with Uranus and a trine to your 5th house stuff, it makes me feel like a relationship could start up very quickly and you guys could start talking about building a life together, where you're traveling together, what your philosophies are, what you're looking for in terms of long-term commitment. And I would say that these cards have like a slingshot effect. It's like a lot of like, I didn't expect anything. And then you're like, wait, what's that? And then he kind of grows on you to the point where it's like, you're having a really hard time holding back your feelings. And I would say that there is like a bit of a pull back before there's a slingshot effect and it's released. You're so right. He's a whole package, whole person. I feel like we're very complementary. He's ending a karmic marriage at the moment. Well, you know, Neptune's in your 7th, and with the sun squares and all the other things going on to your ascendant, watch for the Mars retrograde. Mars going retrograde in your 4th can be a partner coming to you saying like, I've cut that tie, I'm moving, I'm available. It will still square Neptune. And that's going to be stuff playing out later in the year. But the Lovers does talk about entanglement, but in this case, there's nothing coming up talking about other people. It's more kind of talking about you. But there may be a need for you to hold back and wait then with that 7 of coins coming up saying like, I'm not going to totally jump into this until I know that he's available. But there does seem to be like a really strong mutual bond and a mutual connection that I feel like he's very different. Like he's somebody that it's like hard for you not to notice him. Like, you know, I see the 4 of Cups reversed as like coming into a room and it's somebody that you just can't unsee, right? So it's going to keep kind of coming back, but be careful with investing too much time or energy or making any real moves until he has shown you that he's really ready to kind of meet you halfway. But yeah, there's definitely a connection there for sure. For sure, for sure. And it's going to be something that you're going to go back and forth with during Gemini transit. So the Mercury retrograde we just had in Gemini, I wonder if you were hearing from him about his plans. And then the Mars retrograde is going to be about following up with those plans later this year. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Good luck with that. That looks fun. And let's see, who else do we have? Okay, so that was Alexandra. And now we've got Lizette and then Deanna. Lizette, thank you for waiting. You're welcome, Alexandra. All right, girl, let's see what your question is. I'm gonna have to scroll up a little bit. So I see Hope's question. I'll come back for her. Hi, Candace, long time no talk. I wanted to ask for any messages regarding that huge exam I have coming up. Okay. Libra rising, 10th house Cancer sun, Gemini moon in the 9th. Mercury has been going back and forth somewhere around your moon, going back and forth about cramming, studying. Am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? Venus and Mercury are coming into trines with Saturn pretty soon. So it's about confidence. It's about confidence. Where did you end up going to school? Did you end up going up to Northern California? Where did you go? I remember that reading being like, yeah, you're going to go to school and then you're going to do this and you're going to go here. And wow, so many Libra risings in the group. So what do we need to know about Lizette's exam? Star card looks like it's going to go well. It's about hopes and dreams coming true. But this is also talking about Aquarius. It's talking about Saturn. So like I said, it's about the confidence. I'm curious when the exam is. Just curious. Because Mercury is going to start coming into a trine with Saturn around the end of June. So like the 29th through early July. And then Venus, which rules your chart, comes into a trine with Saturn also July 11th through the 15th. San Francisco. And I still... That was a really long time ago. I'm really excited to hear that you made it all to the Bay. Yeah, I mean, here's what I'll tell you. I feel like your confidence is going to grow a lot during the dates that I just gave you through mid-July. And at the end of July, you're going to have Sun and Mercury coming into a trine with Jupiter. Are you studying with other people? Like, are you studying with a group, or do you have like a one-on-one person that you study with? The Star card is a positive card. It's basically saying, yes, it's going to be fine. It's about confidence. It's about wishes. It's about goals. And it's really reinforcing the fact that like you do have to make some sacrifices socially for you to be able to fulfill this. So there's something that's going on that makes me feel like you got to scale back a little bit on the socializing stuff, but it'll be worth it. Know that like Leo season is going to be like celebrations and breaking out and being like, woo, I can go and see my friends and have a good time now. But it's also going to be a part of a bigger picture, which is about completing like bigger goals in your life, right? So the Star card is basically saying being able to achieve that, being really appreciative and thankful. It's about vibrations. So I also want you to get into the habit of being like, I'm going to ace the test. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going fine. But this is the element of air. So this is also coming up with a routine where maybe you'll burn some incense or clear something to really clear your mind and sit down and focus. It also makes sense if you have a Gemini moon. Doing something like that to help you focus a little bit more can be helpful. Lavender or rosemary, like having like fresh rosemary on your desk. If you have a Gemini moon, when you're studying or trying to focus, you can rub it between your fingers and you can smell it in your hand. Will help you stay grounded. But the Star card seems to me like you're going to be celebrating with other people also the fact that it was a passing grade. And that you're able to kind of complete a goal. So I definitely think that is going to happen for you. That's so awesome. What kind of law are you planning on going into? If you have a 9th house Gemini moon, do you want to do like immigration? Are you wanting to do anything in regards to like documents and paperwork for people? Is that an interest, or are you wanting to do like contractual law? Is that something else that you're thinking about? Just wondering. Just curious, being nosy. Congratulations on that. That's amazing. It's so cool to see you like go through that. You have to let me know. I do feel like it's going to go well. And last but not least, we have Deanna, who also was a Libra rising, if my eyes don't deceive me. We're going to start calling this the Libra rising readings. Libra sun, take it back. Aries rising, Libra sun, so 7th house sun, Aquarius moon, and that would be in the whole sign 11th, 8th house Venus, Mercury and Pluto. Venus, Mercury, and Pluto in the 8th. Is that in Scorpio? Or is that in Libra? What insight and profession would bring me success and more money? Well, you're in Aries rising, your midheaven in theory is Cancer, and you have an Aquarius moon in the 5th. Aries rising, Libra sun. So Sun in Libra in the 7th, Aquarius moon in the 11th. So doing something that allows you to like work with groups of other people. It can also be about working for like a larger company, and it can be like events or anything in regards to having clients. I'd have to look at the whole chart as a whole. I would need to see a lot more than that. But, oh, it's in Scorpio. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So something about all those planets in your 8th house makes me feel like there is an emphasis in like working with other people who have more resources and wealth. But I will pull some cards and take a look. You want to look at your midheaven, Placidus, by degree and by sign. That's going to tell you a lot more. Whole sign readers would be like, oh, you know, you have Capricorn in, you know, the 10th, but that may not be the case. I know you're in Aries rising. But now that Saturn's in your 11th and it's making trines to your sun, it can be about working with other groups of people, working with friends, or developing a business where you have a partnership with a friend. That's one way this can turn out. 8th house, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto tells me that you have a fixation on other people's resources, or it can be about handling other people's money or like budgets. Like you can be good at that as well. Or working with wealthier people. If you have a Libra 7th sun, what have you done in the past? Have you done anything in regards to the arts or doing like work that's like client management or anything of that nature? Where is your Mars if you're an Aries rising? Justice, law, legality, balance, partnerships. It's addressing you, Libra. This can also be saying like needing another person. So whether this is having a business partnership or like, you know, working with a partner or possibly like having clients. It can talk about law, legality, but it can be talking about client relations. And it talks about cause and effect. So it can be, you know, related to law and the justice. Okay, so Mars is in the 11th. So it is about working with other people. You need to work with groups. Have you done any work with like actual unions? Has that been something that you've done? Sometimes Mars in Aquarius like wants to work with groups of people, or they want to work in the tech field with others. That's another way that I can look at it, especially like tech, IT startup. That can be something else. But sometimes I've seen people who have like union work. So I've seen like artists and creatives and people who do that kind of stuff, and that they're involved with a union. Nine of Cups reversed is telling me that there is a need for you to feel like you need something stable, not just chasing something because it looks good, or not just chasing something because you're really emotionally connected to it. Like the need for you to be like, okay, I'm done doing that. I need to take a more logical or kind of practical approach when it comes to my career. One thing that I would say is with the Knight of Cups reversed is that, you know, you need something that is going to allow you to feel very emotionally like connected to your job. Like you need to feel passionate about what you're doing. No, but I'll fight for him. Mars in the 11th. Fighting for causes or being a part of a group cause or something of that nature. But Knight of Cups is telling me feeling burnt out on things recently, kind of like feeling like you need to be re-inspired. And then you have Knight of Wands reversed, which is talking about like loss of motivation and like momentum. I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got Saturn, which is your career house, trining your sun, which rules your 5th house of creativity, going and working with groups of creatives or joining a business that's got other creative individuals or people who are involved in art or theater or anything of that nature, they might need like a representative. So I don't know if you'd be interested in like representing talent or like doing talent scouting or some type of talent management. That could be something else you could do. But the Nine of Wands is saying right now you're feeling like really burnt out and like you feel like you need support. So I would wonder if it would like benefit you talking to like a career coach and somebody who can sit down and be like, okay, what is your background? What do you like to do? What's your experience? Like, what are you good at? To really help you sort through things so that way you can kind of find more of the motivation of what you're looking for. But I would look very specifically at the ruler and the degree of your midheaven. So it may not be Capricorn. Sometimes it's not. If it is, and it's ruled by Saturn, know that Saturn is in a square with Uranus. So all this year, Saturn squaring Uranus, and you're seeing a situation where you're like, okay, you know what? I need to have radical changes in my money and my resources. And it's squaring Saturn in the 11th. To me, it tells me you would benefit from going and joining online groups. And like if you have hobbies or interests or things, especially if it involves perfume, anything in relation to food, anything in relation to floral design, anything in relation to investing, especially like newer things like crypto and like other stuff, because Uranus is in your 2nd. And next year, Jupiter is going to cross into your 2nd house. So that's going to be about you being like, oh, I've learned so much about money and resources, or I've learned more about trading, or I've learned more about beauty or something, that you're going to be like, and now I have the capabilities of being able to either travel and do this or teach other people. Mars in the 11th, I wonder, like, do you have an interest in doing anything connected to aesthetics? Like sometimes I've seen people who have that go and do group classes, like learning how to do permanent makeup, learning how to do anything relating to like metal work, like with individuals or groups, or maybe like creative work that you would have to like work on with others. It depends. I'd really have to see your chart. But to me, the cards are saying right now, you need the support of other people to either help create an incentive for you to make a change and feel fired up about it. And you also need other people to kind of say like that they want to work with you. Saturn in your 11th trine your sun, you definitely can do that, but you need others. But right now, I think between now and the better part of what's going to be the fall, this is getting worked out. For Libras also, Saturn is 5 houses away from their sun, which represents their creative abilities. Maybe take a couple classes relating to a couple different things that you can kind of sample and try out and see what you like. And likely join some like professional groups or networks or associations so you can be meeting other creatives and seeing like what people are looking for, because it's going to be a lot about networking for you so you can figure out where you want to go. Okay. Look for changes happening around September, October. That's when things are going to kind of shift a little bit, and it looks like you might actually have an offer or the opportunity to work on something with another person. Hopefully that's helpful. I know that was a long one. Thank you guys for staying. Those of you guys who are still here, I will put this out because I'm going to talk about it more this weekend when I create my astro weather videos and other things. But I have a tarot course coming out soon. So if you want to learn how to read tarot the way that I do, if you want to learn how to read intuitively, if you're a beginner, head over to my website. You can join my newsletter. You're going to get a pop-up. I'm not going to spam you. I'm only going to send you emails letting you know if I've got a course coming out. Astro 101 is now available on my website. So if you missed learning how to do it with me live, we have packaged it, made it possible for you to see all the videos. You get all the downloads, the documents, the homework, all that stuff. You can study at your own pace, and you can learn astrology with me. If you go and check out my posts, I know we've got a post where you can get a deal. We've got like a percentage off. So maybe we can drop that in the chat so that way they can get it. I don't want to mess it up because I can't remember what it was. And 2, yes, tarot's coming out soon. Probably in like the next week or so, we're going to release the tarot course. So if you like the way I read, you want to learn with me, if you want to take these courses, I'm going to have them on Sunday mornings, AM time. If you want to learn tarot the way that I do, go sign up for my newsletter. You'll be alerted when that goes out in the next week or so. And you'll also get emails when I have webinars. I'm going to start teaching astrological one-off webinars. So if you have like a particular interest, you can follow that up. I'll put a calendar out soon so you guys know when all this stuff's coming up. Yes, discount code $10 off. You receive, 10 off. You'll get 10% off of the total cost of the course. So it's a pretty good deal. Check out my website at beyondtheveiltarot.com. Tomorrow we got Astro Weather. It's coming out early in the morning. I did it early for you guys. Just a heads up also, yes, we always do readings on Saturdays. However, I'm going to be traveling again. I'm doing 3 cities in 1 month, you guys. It's a lot. So instead of doing astrology on the 25th, we're going to be doing astrology on Tuesday, the 28th. I'll put it out in my community page. So if people are like, where are you on Saturday? I'm living my best life. Don't worry about me. I'll post something. I'll send you guys a selfie. But I will be back on the 28th. We're going to be doing astrology. If you would like to join my memberships and support my channel and get a reading once a month, please do. You can check that out on my page. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for staying with me, spending your Saturday night with me, letting me read your cards. I look forward to seeing all of you guys very soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. Welcome to Astrology 101. All going to start coming together. It's going to start making sense. The more that you guys continue to keep studying and learning and reflecting on some of this, a better